Alright guys, you know the drill, another week, another set of really strong items in Far Cry 6 that you will definitely not want to miss out on. It seems that Ubisoft is on a roll with the past couple of weeks coming in with some really strong items, but most important, we finally have a brand new map, the Puerta del Eden, which has just been added to the Spec Ops, so we're gonna check that in this video, and as always, it will be super awesome if you left a like on it. Let's begin with the brand new special operation you can find over at Lola at the main camp. It's going to bring you, of course, in this brand new map that I enjoyed quite a bit compared to some of the previous ones, and you also have to infiltrate a death-crazed cult to take down their leader before, of course, you steal the PG-240X. Easy peasy, but you also get a brand new reward in the decontamination set, and for this week we are getting the boots. Of course, this means that the wrist is likely going to drop with the special ops that Ubisoft will likely release the next couple of weeks. The boots are pretty decent though. They come with the multi-kill rush mod that improves your movement speed after quickly killing 3 enemies, but you do have to kill them rather quickly before that buff even activates, and I'm not sure it is worth it compared to the parkour set that does all of that without having any additional requirement past just having it equipped. But at the same time, if you want to create a build centered around on-kill buffs, yes, this could probably fit that kind of scenario. With that out of the way though, let's talk about this week's black market items. We're getting a assault rifle called the ARC. This is going to be a custom version of it, which for some reason doesn't have any name in game, so I believe somebody over at Ubisoft must have done something wrong. And of course, we also get the white Lotus sniper rifle, which absolutely slaps. This weapon right here, fully modifiable, deals very high damage, and you're definitely going to want to get it for about 1000 moneda. Let's begin with the Libertad Custom ARC, or at the very least that's what I think the name will be, because at the time of making this video I don't really see the name in game, but it looks like an ARC and it behaves like an ARC. Now, I did test this compared to some of the previous Libertad custom weapons like the AS Val or the SSGP58, and well, honestly, I think it's somewhere in between when it comes to all-around usefulness. It seems to kind of do a little bit of trade-off between stealth and damage compared to some of the previous 2 weapons, but it's still a good weapon. All of these weapons are high-end ones, 4-star rating that will give you a ton of benefits, and you won't have any trouble when it comes to taking down enemies. Also, this ARC version seems to have a little bit better stealth and handling with a minimal downside to accuracy. The only thing that you kinda lose on a bit is damage and bullet velocity, and the reason for that is pretty simple. This is one of the few guns in the game that completely lacks any MK2 mods, and instead you get straight up 2 overclock mods right there. Now, there's some benefits and some downsides to this. One of the benefits is the fact that it only takes 1 gunpowder to pretty much activate one of these, so 2 gunpowder and you get some pretty nice damage buff on it. The downside though, which is pretty major in my opinion, is the fact that you don't get any access to any MK2 mods, including the ones that will give you bonus damage to body shots and to aimed weapon damage. So yeah, I think that this is the biggest trade-off right here, but you do get a ton of attachments you can put on this gun compared to some of the previous ones. Now, the second black market item is going to be the white Lotus, which of course, as you guessed it, is a sniper rifle, which also comes with a really cool skin. But of course, this weapon absolutely slaps for more than a few reasons, and also there's a big benefit to acquiring this. One of them is the overclock mod, which in my opinion is just borked. It's one of the best overclock mods I've seen so far. It essentially doubles your damage right away in exchange for only 1 gunpowder and a bit of industrial circuits. So it's more than worth it because you don't have to invest too many into like making it super powerful. You just have to apply that and it already completely destroys enemies. And guess what? You still have complete access to 1 more MK2 mod, meaning you can slap something that might give you the possibility to reload all of your other weapons when you reload this, or maybe more to headshots or to body damage. There's all in there, baby, and this weapon definitely seems to do it all. By the way, you can also add a canted sight to it, meaning that this is also excellent in mid to close range. In case there's enemies coming in by, you just switch to it and you can definitely go ahead and like use it as a close range sort of weapon. It's still going to suck a little bit if you do like that, because its magazine size is only 5, but with a high rate of fire 165 for a sniper rifle, that's pretty big, and enemies will be dropping very fast and very easy. Overall, there's really not much holding this weapon back. The White Lotus simply can be adapted to any single scenario, and that's because of its huge number of attachment mods, even compared to other sniper rifles out there. If you want stealthiness, if you want armor penetration, if you want high accuracy and high damage, this weapon has it all, which is why this definitely deserves a spot on the top most recommended weapons you should definitely get your hands on in Far Cry 6. And this, ladies and gents, brings us to the final weapon on the list, which is going to be the Switchguard unique rifle that you get by finishing this week's Insurgency. Probably not as strong as the previous week's sniper rifle, but it's still a pretty decent one, as yeah, Ubisoft is finally favoring armor-piercing rounds on unique weapons, over which you don't really have any control when it comes to mods and attachments. Kinda glad that they did this, because it makes the weapon at the very least semi-viable or comparable to some of the other high-end weapons that you already got from the black market, or at the very least competitive, because it still deals really high damage, even though it could be a little bit better. Now, because this is pretty much a modified BP nuke, which is its default 2-star version, it also means it inherits some of its, well, stats, including the fact that the recoil kinda brings your weapon sight upwards, meaning that it's super easy to aim at the chest area and land a headshot as you're unleashing all of these bullets into the enemy's head. Of course, if you want to have a little bit more control over the spread and be a little bit more precise, you can definitely switch to a single shot or a burst fire mode, but I don't think the reflex sight will help you too much, especially if enemies are a little bit further away. It does help you in mid and close range, because it also comes with the Gut Wrencher mod that improves your damage to body shots, and you also get a pretty fast reload with it with the first mod on the weapon. It doesn't really come with anything else, it's just a unique weapon with 2 attachments and 2 mods, but I found it to perform decently well in most of the combat scenarios I was in. It's not like enemies don't die in one shot anyway when you aim for the head, since you do have the armor piercing round on it, and it's not like it's a bad weapon with its damage already being over there at half of the bar. So yeah, I think that there is a potential to this weapon to be pretty good. It's still better than nothing, but I kinda want a better version of the BP nuke, a 4-star one. Maybe we're gonna get it in the future, a custom version that we can go ahead and just apply the mods that we want. And seeing how Ubisoft has the habit of releasing custom Libertad versions of default weapons, I don't think it's gonna be too far off. We might get to see it in the next few weeks, but of course only time will tell. This is it with this week's weapons. Totally let me know down below which one of these were your favorite and which ones are you going to plan to use the most. Personally, for me, it was definitely the White Lotus, but totally let me know down below if you have a different pick. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.